In some sort of crude sense, which no vulgarity, no humor, no overstatement can quite extinguish, the physicists have known sin, and this is a knowledge which they cannot lose. On December 8, 1941, the United States entered World War II by declaring war on Japan. The Axis powers and the Allies raced to develop more and more powerful weapons. Science provided them with an alluring but terrifying goal. In 1938, Fritz Strassmann and Otto Hahn discovered nuclear fission, which causes a chain reaction of splitting atoms and an immense release of energy. Fission laid the foundation for a nuclear weapon with extraordinary power. In June of 1942, the U.S. government initiated a program to create the atomic bomb called the Manhattan Project. A prominent scientist at the time, J. Robert Oppenheimer, was chosen to direct the project. Robert Oppenheimer exemplified the brilliant opportunities of scientific discovery as leader of the Manhattan Project. At the same time, his later public dissents regarding nuclear policy embody significant internal conflict over his role in creating such destructive weapons. His internal conflict is representative of society's complex relationship with science. Robert Oppenheimer was born on April 22, 1904 in New York, son of wealthy parents Ella and Julius. Oppenheimer received degrees from Harvard, Göttingen, and Cambridge, where he developed his passion for theoretical physics. After years of research and study, he became a professor at UC Berkeley and Caltech. During his early years, Oppenheimer only vaguely followed politics. Exposure to the suffering of the Great Depression led Oppenheimer to develop a leftist liberal political stance. A girlfriend, Jean Tatlock, later his wife, Kitty Harrison, and many of his friends urged Oppenheimer to become involved with the Communist Party. In October 1942, Leslie Groves, general of the Army Corps of Engineers, chose Oppenheimer to direct the Manhattan Project. While Oppenheimer had done significant research in his career, he felt the Manhattan Project was his opportunity for greatness. Physicist Isidore Rabi remarked that Oppenheimer's appointment was a real stroke of genius on the part of General Groves, who was not generally considered to be a genius. Groves was confident in Oppenheimer, but this selection was somewhat controversial. Some scientists resented Oppenheimer's directing position due to his organizational skills. The scientists and the government were initially concerned about his discipline and ability to focus on one project. Also, while considering Oppenheimer for the Manhattan Project, the FBI raised suspicions that he was involved with the Soviet Union due to his communist acquaintances. Despite these concerns, General Groves insisted that Oppenheimer's intelligence, rationality, and charisma were indispensable to the project and that he was a real genius. As director, Oppenheimer was diplomatic, respectful, and wholeheartedly devoted to the project. For instance, he suggested that the project be situated in a remote location with ideal dry conditions. This was to keep the scientists isolated but together, and to more easily keep the project secret. He and Groves agreed on desolate Los Alamos, New Mexico. Oppenheimer's charisma was ideal as director, for he had to recruit other scientists to the project. Many were hesitant to join such a high-profile and dangerous mission. Groves liked Oppenheimer because he was easy to understand and willing to compromise. As said by Roy Glauber, a physicist of the project, Oppenheimer and Groves worked well together. They balanced each other out. While a brilliant physicist, Oppenheimer was also an able communicator who was eloquent and clear in his explanations of scientific theory. His scientific attitude complemented Groves' strict military approach. As a military leader, Groves favored organizing the project into groups of scientists working on specific parts of the bomb. This would promote secrecy and security at Los Alamos. Only he and Oppenheimer would know all that was going on. Oppenheimer disagreed with these policies of compartmentalization and militarization. He believed the free exchange of ideas at Los Alamos was vital to the success of the project, that there must be no barriers for freedom of inquiry. There is no place for dogma in science. The scientist is free and must be free to ask any question, to doubt any assertion, to seek for any evidence, to correct any errors. Ben Peterson, a soldier at Los Alamos, admired Oppenheimer's philosophy, remarking that it was unique and important to the success of the project. On July 16, 1945, the plutonium test bomb named Trinity fired. Trinity confirmed the success of Oppenheimer and the Manhattan Project. Certainly, he was pleased that his work succeeded in creating the atomic bomb. His reaction upon witnessing Trinity was relief. He simply said, "It worked." Yet he was also deeply discomforted by the bomb's destructive capacity. Trinity represents the end of the Manhattan Project, but it was only the start of Oppenheimer's conflict over his role in the creation of the bomb. On August 6, 1945, President Harry Truman gave orders to drop the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan. 3 days later, the second dropped on Nagasaki. Approximately 105,000 people were killed, and tens of thousands later from the effects of radiation. Oppenheimer became an instant hero in the United States, earning the title of Father of the Atomic Bomb. Japan surrendered soon after Nagasaki was hit, thus ending World War II. While the bombs brought about a quick surrender, they not only destroyed military targets but annihilated tens of thousands of innocent civilians. Throughout the project, Oppenheimer exhibited a single-mindedness in creating a successful weapon. However, after the completion of the project, the Japanese bombings, and the end of World War II, he became more conflicted about the impacts of this extremely dangerous weapon. He and the bomb significantly contributed to a new age in warfare, political methods, foreign affairs, and the balance of power. Oppenheimer did not regret serving his country. He said, "My role was to preside over an effort to make, as soon as possible, something practical, but I would do it again." Yet he later stated that after Trinity he knew he was partially responsible for creating a new age of enormous destructive capability. He and many of the scientists at Los Alamos had seen their project as necessary to win the race against Germany to develop the atomic bomb. According to Glauber, they were working hard out of fear of the Germans. With Germany already defeated, using the bomb against Japan seemed to them unjustified. Similar to some scientific advances, the dangerous implications of this creation truly became real only after he succeeded. He was horrified to see the death and destruction the bomb caused in Japan, and worried about the bomb's impact on civilization.
We knew the world would not be the same. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.
Robert Oppenheimer's post-war career of politics and court hearings is controversial. Oppenheimer's conflict over the morality of the atomic bomb led him to firmly oppose further nuclear development in the United States. After the war, he chaired the General Advisors Committee of the Atomic Energy Commission, established by Congress to promote and control peacetime development of atomic science. This influential position gave his arguments authority. He discouraged the U.S. from participating in the intensifying arms race and opposed and temporarily slowed the creation of the hydrogen bomb. In October of 1949, in a report by the General Advisory Committee, Oppenheimer and fellow members stated, "We believe a superbomb should never be produced. Mankind would be far better off not to have a demonstration of the feasibility of such a weapon." He and his colleagues believed the hydrogen bomb to be a weapon of genocide, according to historian Martin Sherwin. Long after the war, Oppenheimer's detractors accused him of being a security threat due to his alleged affiliations with communism and the Soviet Union. During the Red Scare in 1954, President Eisenhower revoked his security clearance. Henry Smythe, commissioner of the AEC, believed that Oppenheimer was innocent. He said, "I prefer the positive statement that Dr. Oppenheimer's further employment will continue to strengthen the United States. I therefore have voted to reinstate Dr. Oppenheimer's clearance." Others, including Lewis Strauss and Edward Teller, opposed Oppenheimer. Los Alamos laboratory historian Alan Carr said, "I doubt Strauss thought Oppenheimer was a spy, but Oppenheimer had publicly and unnecessarily humiliated Strauss before Congress, and Strauss wanted to return the favor." Throughout his life, Oppenheimer's confident and often impatient personality earned him enemies. These enemies took the opportunity to damage his career by stripping him of his political and scientific influence, despite having no evidence of the danger of his communist relations. This hearing ruined Oppenheimer. Robert Oppenheimer expressed moral conflict over his role in creating a powerful and destructive weapon. Naturally, he was proud to serve his country and help end the war, but his efforts had grave consequences. The atomic bomb not only caused countless Japanese casualties, but it led to the hydrogen bomb, nuclear warfare, and nuclear proliferation. It put in question the future of human civilization. Oppenheimer felt responsible and tried to control and limit nuclear development, but he could not stop what he started. Oppenheimer's conflict over the bomb illustrates society's conflict with science. Throughout history, people have struggled over the role of science in society. Science and scientists represent progress, but this progress is often inconsistent with society's traditional values or creates other, unintended societal issues. Oppenheimer helped create the atomic bomb, which advanced technology and ended World War II, yet it caused devastation, so he tried to control nuclear weapons. Today, stem cell research, cloning, and genetically modified crops are debated as potentially inconsistent with society's values, creating new challenges and risks. Oppenheimer and his personal struggles are precursors to these modern conflicts. Biological advances in stem cells and cloning are meant to improve human lives, yet they may be extremely dangerous. Chairman of the Union of Concerned Scientists Kurt Gottfried says that because biological materials are more readily available than nuclear materials, biological technology is a bigger societal problem than nuclear energy. The potential for genetically altering and modifying humans is very dangerous. Oppenheimer's actions in directing the Manhattan Project and later protesting nuclear development demonstrate his significant conflict over the atomic bomb. His struggle over the morality and the ethics of the bomb is representative of society's complex relationship with scientific advancement. While scientific progress continues at an ever more rapid pace, often society and scientists themselves are conflicted over the ethical and moral issues of such research. Oppenheimer's life shows that scientific advancement often raises sharp ethical and moral debates within society. His legacy is the essential struggle of society with ethical and moral implications of scientific advancement.